Port Lincoln, South Australia. A peaceful coastal town unprepared for the horror about to unfold. A local community stunned. A case that blends reality TV glamour and gruesome crime. This is the story of Tamika Chesser and the tragic death of Julian Story. Tamika Sue-Ann Rose Chesser, 34, once a glamorous face of Australian reality TV. She featured on the 2010 season of Beauty and the Geek, and later modeled, even appeared in magazines like Ralph and FHM.
I looked like the Little Mermaid and Malibu Barbie.
But behind the spotlight lay real-life turmoil and allegations that would shock the nation. After her brief brush with fame, Chesser retreated from the public eye. In the years that followed, she lived a quieter, more isolated life, eventually relocating to Port Lincoln, a regional South Australian town known for its fishing industry and tight-knit community. She had maintained an active Instagram presence up until 2023, sharing glamour and fitness photos. But in the months before the murder, she had largely vanished from social media. That is until, in the weeks leading up to Julian Story's death, a disturbing scene played out in a local Port Lincoln pub. Video footage captured by an onlooker shows Tamika Chesser, now with a shaved head, appearing visibly agitated, shouting and screaming. Her behavior was erratic and unsettling. The footage has not been addressed by police and remains outside the official case file. But for many who have seen it, it raised serious questions about her mental state in the days before the alleged crime. Around that time, Chesser's sister gave a rare media interview expressing heartbreak and confusion. It just started getting worse. She started being in and out of mental health. She didn't mention anything, and she just told everyone that she loves them, she said. "It's my sister, but that's not who she is or the Tamika we know. It's not the Tamika anyone knows." It was one of the only personal statements released by the family, offering a glimpse into their emotional turmoil.
It just started getting worse, and she started being in and out of mental health. If she didn't mention anything, and she just told everyone that she loves them. It's my sister, but that's not who she is or the Tamika we know. That's not the Tamika anyone knows.
Julian Story, 39, had reportedly been in a relationship with Chesser for some time before his death. Described by acquaintances as quiet and reserved, he worked locally and was not involved in public life. Raised in South Australia, Julian had family in the area who were devastated by the news. He kept to himself. He didn't chase attention, and yet he would become the center of one of the country's most gruesome headlines. Around midnight on June 17, 2025, police alleged Tamika Chesser murdered Julian Story in their Port Lincoln apartment. But what happened next would escalate the case from a local tragedy to a national headline. On June 19th, a fire was reported at the unit. Emergency services responded and discovered Story's body, severely burned and missing his head. Chesser was arrested outside the home shortly afterward. Court documents later described her as erratic and emotionally volatile. In addition to the murder charge, she is also charged with interfering with human remains with the intent to hinder an investigation, and with assaulting an emergency worker and disorderly conduct in earlier unrelated incidents. The interfering with human remains charge suggests more than just an attempt to dispose of the body. It implies a deliberate act meant to obstruct the investigation, to destroy forensic evidence, and delay the discovery of what really happened. She is currently held in Adelaide's James Nash House Psychiatric facility, where she has undergone psychological evaluation. James Nash House is South Australia's highest security psychiatric facility, reserved for individuals charged with or convicted of serious crimes who require intensive mental health care. It's here that some of the state's most dangerous or unwell forensic patients are assessed for legal fitness. For Tamika Chesser, this environment is expected to play a critical role in determining how her case proceeds through the courts. Investigators released CCTV footage showing a woman, believed to be Chesser, walking through Port Lincoln in the hours after the killing, dressed in black, carrying a bag, and walking her dogs. She walked alone, in silence, carrying secrets no one else could see. Detectives believe she may have disposed of evidence during this walk, leading to an extensive search operation in the surrounding bushland and coastal areas. Authorities reviewed surveillance footage and used cadaver dogs in remote terrain.
What I'm asking for today is the public assistance about her movements so we can recover Julian's head and return it to his family. Specifically, we are seeking to identify the movements of Tamika, particularly between midnight, Tuesday 17 June, until the afternoon of Thursday 19 June.
A large-scale search involving police, SES volunteers, and forensic teams combed the region for several days, hoping to locate the missing head, a key part of the forensic investigation. Despite initial setbacks, police remained confident the head had been intentionally removed from the scene. Then, on July 31, 2025, a chilling breakthrough, one that would finally shift the momentum of the investigation.
Major crime detectives are confident a dog walker's accidental discovery has ended their search for the missing head of Port Lincoln murder victim Julian Story.
A local dog walker discovered a human skull in scrubland near Port Lincoln, unburied and exposed. The dog had reportedly wandered off and began barking at something in the grass. When the owner investigated, they discovered what appeared to be a human skull and alerted authorities immediately.
Pretty surreal, to be honest. I just went in a bit closer and kind of made the connection pretty quickly as to what I thought it was. It was kind of just like, no way, like it's not what I think it is. Like, no, surely not, but it was just, yeah, too coincidental.
Detective Superintendent Darren Fielke confirmed in a press conference.
The remains are most likely human, and I believe that they are the remains of Julian Story. The person who's was walking the dog has gone in to see what's going on, and that's how those remains were discovered. This is on the marina side, and where the murder scene is on the other side of the township. Some comfort to the family that we can get all of his remains back to them.
Police quickly secured the area, launched another forensic sweep, and collected soil and biological samples. Specialist forensic teams from Adelaide were brought in to assist with testing. The skull is undergoing DNA testing and dental comparison to confirm identity. The discovery brought a mix of relief and horror to Port Lincoln's tight-knit community. As one local put it, "It's going to go mental," reflecting a town unaccustomed to such violence. Others expressed disbelief and sadness as police erected tents and scoured the surrounding bushland. Longtime residents told reporters the crime had shaken their sense of safety. One said, "We've dealt with some crime before, but nothing like this. It shocked me, that's for sure." Cases involving dismemberment, particularly the removal of a victim's head, are almost unheard of in Australia. Even among seasoned detectives, the brutality of this case has been described as exceptionally rare. The victim's family is planning a private funeral for early August, thankful for community efforts that helped bring closure. A small memorial with flowers and a photograph of Julian was later placed near the trail. Chesser appeared in Port Lincoln Magistrates Court on July 31st via video link from her psychiatric facility. But despite public attention reaching a peak, the most pressing charge, murder, remained untouched in that hearing. Her next court appearance is scheduled for December 18, 2025. With forensic testing ongoing, authorities continue to piece together the timeline and motive, though as of now, no motive has been publicly identified. Legal experts suggest that Chesser's psychiatric condition may factor heavily in the case. The use of James Nash House indicates assessments are in progress, but no public findings about her fitness to stand trial have been released. Police have provided no theory about what might have triggered the attack. Without a public motive, speculation remains high. But for now, the full story behind the violence is unknown. Who was Julian Story? What kind of relationship did he and Chesser share? Were there warning signs in Tamika's behavior preceding the tragedy? How did authorities miss the head initially? And what does that say about managing complex crime scenes in rural communities? And most unsettling, has the full truth yet emerged? A former reality TV star, a gruesome and shocking death, a community in mourning. Though a major piece of evidence has been found, the case of Tamika Chesser and Julian Story is far from closed. Could someone have seen this coming? Were there missed warning signs? Was this a slow descent into crisis or a single breaking point? Unless Tamika Chesser chooses to speak publicly or through court proceedings, many of these questions may never be answered. Port Lincoln will never forget. A quiet town, now marked forever by one of Australia's most brutal crimes. In the coming months, Chesser will likely undergo continued psychiatric evaluation, followed by a committal hearing to determine if there's sufficient evidence to move to trial. This process could take months or even years, depending on the outcome of psychological reports and legal arguments. If declared fit, she'll face formal indictment in the Supreme Court of South Australia. If not, she may remain under medical detention indefinitely. As forensic tests progress, court dates approach, and public scrutiny intensifies, the search for answers and justice continues. Make sure to subscribe for more in-depth true crime documentaries and check out the other true crime videos featured on screen now.